Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. I can talk today. Stand by. This is just us getting our tech lives together. We will go live at 3 p.m. on the dot Pacific time. We're 5 minutes out. We're doing awesome stuff today. I'm so excited. I can't even begin to tell you. I almost wore a feather boa for this. So, show starts in approximately 5 minutes. it's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Success Bully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. I am so excited that it's Monday. Who else is excited about that besides me? This is a fresh start. It's a fresh month. It's March. March is like one of my favorite months. I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like you're kind of in rhythm with the year by this point. You kind of you got where you're getting where you're going, right? So I love March, and this month we have a theme all around money. So March is all about making money. And we have quite a bit of content that we're going to be sharing with you in the coming weeks just around that concept of make money in March. And we're so excited. We brought a bunch of experts together over the coming weeks to share their best practices with you. And so making money as a side hustler and an entrepreneur is critical if you plan on scaling. Otherwise, I've yelled this on the internet before, you're an eccentric hobbyist. You're an eccentric hobbyist and you are not an entrepreneur, which is fine. You can decide to do that. But in this group, we're all about scaling, and we want to give you the tools to do so. So I want to welcome you. I have a couple of announcements before we get into our very special guest. Oh my goodness, I almost wore a feather boa. I was trying to figure out how I could top myself so that this was exceptionally special. And so before we get into that, I want to first say special shout out to Sarah Lerner, who is the big winner of our biggest giveaway to date. We gave away over $2,000 worth of prizes, and that was a taking care of yourself, taking care of your business giveaway. So special shout out to Sarah for lighting up the scoreboard and winning that giveaway. Also, I want to remind you that we have a challenge coming up. It's our 5 days of focus challenge for aspiring corporate escape artists. So for our side hustlers in the group who are looking to take their side hustle from a daydream of one day leaving your corporate job to actually putting a plan in motion to get her done. I want to invite you to join us on March 15th. You can register. You got to claim your spot at successbully.com/challenge. We have prizes and surprises going into this. And this I like to call our simple system to bulletproof your side hustle profits so you earn more and work less so you can bust out of corporate America forever and fully dedicate your time to building your business empire. And so we want to make sure that your faith is in the place. And I'm clever. I'm clever with this one. I'm particularly excited about this challenge in that we kind of designed it as if it was a caper. So as if it were Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13, Ocean's 45, whatever oceans we're up to at this point. So day one is all about casing the joint, and that's just you looking at your cash flow to see if you have what you need to finally quit. Day two is finding your mark, so understanding your revenue flight plan. Day three, we actually plan the caper. So what's your escape plan so that you can be cubicle free? And then day four, we enlist a few accomplices. Right? Because every plan requires accomplices, and entrepreneurship is a team sport. So you want to surround yourself with a strategic community to get it done. And then day five, we want to make sure you get away with it. So I want to remind you where your focus goes, your money grows. Right? So make sure you get your spot in the 5 days of focus challenge. Starts on March 15th, successbully.com/challenge. You can reach out to our lovely concierges if you need any support. So Cece, wave your hands and let everyone know who you are concierging for, And Monica is our other concierge. So Monica, if you could wave your hand in the comments and let everyone know who you are working with exclusively, and we'll get you everything you need to be successful. All right, so now that I'm out of breath going over my announcements, because I get way too excited. I need to come in at like a 5 instead of like 11 and a half. Like maybe I have to be like a slow burn. I don't know. I'm tickling myself. I'm just talking to myself now. So I am excited to welcome Bronwyn to the show. She is a communication coach, a writer, a speaker, and she is devoted to helping people shine. I don't even think you know how this touches me, that, especially as a retired comms person or a former comms person, that your ability to effectively communicate what you have to offer, what you have to share with the world is a game changer for you. It's a game changer, whether you are an entrepreneur, an artist, or whatever you are. If you cannot communicate who you are and what you do and your value, you could be dimming your own light. So I love the idea of helping others shine. She's known for her playful, irreverent approach to coaching. I love it. And life in general. We've had quite a few spirited conversations on the interwebs and beyond. But she also teaches this serious transformation in how we communicate, inspire, and connect with those around us. She has prepared her clients for television appearances on American Idol, Real Time with Bill Maher, Bloomberg, CNBC Power Lunch, The Oprah Show, Home Shopping Network, and the PBS NewsHour. I love this phrase. She has midwifed over 120 TEDx, TED Global, and TED Talks. Sign me up for one of those. Why not? Let me just TED Talk later. I have nothing else on my schedule. When she's not writing or in coaching mode, Bronwyn's goal is to be the eye of the storm in a household of 3 children and a type A husband in the Bay Area. I understand. She spends an alarming amount of time listening to NPR, sings in a cover band. I'm putting a pin in that, and secretly wishes to write a novel. We've talked about this too. I'm going to harass you about that, and pen a decent song and learn to speak Farsi. You got some work cut out for you, and not necessarily in any order. So everyone put your hands together. I don't know if we clap. Do we clap here? Are we going to clap? Are we going to body roll? I don't know. What are we doing here? I'd like to welcome the incomparable Bronwyn to the show. Hello.
Hello, Keita. I'm just going to blow you screen kisses here.
Oh, so good to see you. So good to see you.
Don't ever turn your energy down to 5. 11 and a half is like
all the way. All the way. Why not?
Yes.
Why not? Why exactly. Not? So let's jump right in. Let's jump right in. So what I and we talked about this kind of being in the in the comm space in that world. You have an impressive background and you've helped many high profile clients get ready for being on camera. So how did you get to that point in your career, and how are you building your practice around this? I really like the idea of helping people shine.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me on here. I'm such a fan of everything you do. And just the way you're setting this up is just so fascinating and cool. And I love all the tools and tricks. Anyway, to answer your question, I came into this world from public relations, as I know you did too, my friend. And I was always the person that you called when you had a CEO who was kind of boring, but he had to talk to Bloomberg and light up the stage and all things or whatever it was. So I always had that reputation as someone that could bring out the best in somebody while also keeping them calm when the pressure was cranked up to 11 and a half, right?
Right.
And I hit a stage in my career where I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I hate PR now. I don't like public relations anymore.
I can relate.
You know this. You feel me.
I was like, I hate this now. I'm not doing the stuff I like.
What happened to me? I used to love this. And
I'm managing the budget.
I mean, yes. And yes, I mean, that is its own talk that we can have. What was the moment? But I remember thinking to myself, I have invested at this point, it was 15 years in PR. And I was like, God, do I just walk away? And then I was like, wait a minute. There's actually parts of this job that I love, which is the communicating, connecting with people in an audience, whether it's millions of people on a live audience or a couple of hundred people in a physical audience, or even just one-on-one. My jam has always been about connection. And so I thought, you know what? I bet you if I carve out, and I'm not one of those Tony Robbins people that's like, burn the boats.
Burn the boats. I'm not that either. No, ease on out there.
What the hell? It's like, you must not have any kids or
you have no responsibility.
You have no responsibilities. So I was like, I'm not going to burn the boats, but what I am going to do is have a pie chart. And right now it's 100% PR, but I'm going to wedge it 5% to be just communication coaching, just on camera coaching, or just public speaking coaching. And I'm going to open that wedge up until it replaces and then goes beyond what PR was delivering to a financial position. And it took me, it was not, and this is a funny thing, Keita, people are always like, oh, I want to take you out to lunch and pick your brain, and I want to do what you do. And when they find out that it takes a couple of years to
no, you don't.
Yeah, they don't want to hear it. They're like, well, I don't like that part.
What do you mean? I got to work hard for the next 3 years?
Yes. and do some, and I did stuff on spec. I did a lot of spec work for free in the first year or two. And I built my reputation, and it's like my vibe has always been land and expand. And I'd work with one executive, and then we get 3 or 4 others in the jam. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it started.
Okay, so can I just, I need to like, I just want you to know that I'm legit going to say land and expand as if I made it up myself. I just want you to know that.
You know what? If it makes you feel better, I think maybe I stole it from the U.S. military. So I think we're
land and expand. So it's public property.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Roll with it. Make it famous, Kita.
But I do think that is, and yes, success like speed.
Yeah.
Like once you made the decision that you were going to do that, you put a plan in motion and you work that plan.
Yes.
I think especially for our side hustlers, like you have this big vision of, yes, I want to do 500K in revenue. Sweetie, that might take you a few years to hit that.
Right. Or it can be like one of the things you've got your eye on, but there's also list building, relationship. You know, there's like other things you could be working on while you're waiting for the 500K to come in, you know?
Oh, yes. And there's all these moments of celebration along the way.
Yes.
You know, like as the pie chart was expanding, as you land and expand, gotta say it back to you. That there are these celebratory moments along the way. And so like define for me, like when you say, like if you pulled us in a room and you were like, okay, big talk, you got 5 minutes with us. You got 5 minutes to help us shine. What are like what are like the top 3 things you would tell people to do when they are looking to kind of add a little more juice to their talk, add a little more juice to how they're communicating? What are those 3 things? Ooh, do you like how I'm limited to 3?
For me, the definition of shine, it's really 2 sides of one coin, right?
I wish I could take notes, but I'm busy doing
I'll
watch it later.
You know where I live, so you could call me anytime. But to me, one side of the coin is to be your most authentic self with a capital S, meaning, you know, that part of you that comes out when you feel safe and relaxed and you're with people that love you and you feel good and you're just shining. You want to take that self and make sure that's the self you're marching out on stage, or that you're marching into that meeting, not the scared, like, oh my God, I don't belong here, imposter syndrome self.
Like, why did they choose me?
Yes. The big self, right? It's like that concept from Eckhart Tolle, big me versus little me, right? Little me is the voice of the ego that is constantly scanning the room. Who's above me? Who's below me? It's that mean, small part of us. But big me is the part of us that knows we're enough and we're just here to help. We're just here to help. And that is the self that shines, right? So that's part of who, you know, can you be your authentic self with a capital S? While also, and this is equally as important and usually where the work begins, how good are you at speaking a truth or delivering a message that keeps people's attention? Because Kita, we are, especially in the business community, we walk in with these decks and these remarks that are so boring. We wonder why the audience is checking email and Instagram. It's because we're boring. Right?
Or we information overload them.
Yes, right. It's not that we're boring. It's the deck or it's the remarks we prepared. So for me as a coach, I'm always starting with the audience. How do we make this interesting for them to where they're leaning in like, oh my God, say more, you know? It's like that quiet, there's this great phrase called the interest span that was coined by Robert McKee, who was kind of a legend in Hollywood. He said, yes, it's true, attention spans are collapsing, but it's also true that we will binge watch Bridgerton till 3 a.m., right?
Way past my bedtime.
So, right? So there is a way to cast a spell on a group of people and get them to really pay attention and stay with you. So to me, in order for you to shine, we do 2 things simultaneously. We bring forward our highest self that isn't afraid, that's just here to help and make a difference. And we deliver our message in a way that keeps people's attention. So that is what I do. That's what I work on.
Well, like I could tell my sister has this thing that she teases me about, that when I'm really happy, you can't see my top lip because I smile. So
I love that.
And so like when I'm doing that, I'm like, that's when I'm my happy. That's when I'm big S.
Yeah.
Like, when you can't see my.
You can't see your upper lip. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Full 100-watt smile.
Wow.
You can't even say. I don't know why that was. I had to share that with you all. But if you don't see my top lip, I'm bringing it.
Yeah, that's your authentic, like, smilingest self. That's exactly right, Keita. Good.
So then, okay, so I literally got like 3 of these text messages last week,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so this is my segue into the money conversation. This is my segue. So I get this text message a lot, and it's around like, well, how would you price this?
Yeah.
Or like, what's the range for this? Or like, how do you get people to pay that? So what are your tips and best practices when we're having that money conversation about pricing and value? What are some of your tips for breaking that down?
Well, listen, I got to tell you, this is a journey that I've been on myself as both student, and now I'm inching towards mastery, but I'm not there yet. So just caveat. But
constant evolution over here.
Constant, especially because we're women. Like, we were groomed to stay quiet about this stuff. And so for us
it's a taboo.
Oh my God, it's groundbreaking. But there were 2 people in my life that were the great teachers of negotiation for me. And that was Margaret Neal at Stanford, who teaches at the business. Actually, she's retired now, but she is a brilliant negotiator. And what she told me was, you're not negotiating like, money. What you're doing is you're trying to create outcomes that appeal to everybody. So when you're asking for something, you're not asking it because it's good for you. You're showing what it does for the broader community, or what it does for the organization, it's an investment, right? Okay. And I love that because it gets you out of your mindset of like, well, what do I need? Into what do we need and how do we create win-wins, right? So that's the first thing, is it's not about getting my needs met. It's about articulating what everyone's needs are and getting them all met at the same time at the price point that I think is fair, right?
Wow.
Right? And that's also based on market research. I mean, we're not pulling it out of our ears, right? But the most powerful advice I've ever gotten about negotiating and the money conversation is that we are never negotiating our worth. Ever. We are negotiating a product, a service, a good. It has nothing to do with our worth. Our worth is always whole, intact. And if there's feedback on the pricing, that's just data. And we'll play whatever game needs to happen based on that data. But I think where so many of us get trapped, and certainly I did earlier on in my career, is thinking that a money conversation is a negotiation of our worth. It isn't. It is a market-driven piece of data that gets discussed.
Oh, I love it. A market piece of data. Well, I think that, and it's really interesting, kind of working, there's my business is a 3-legged stool. We have our corporate work, I have my one-on-one coaching, and then we have our group coaching. And our group coaching is really focused on the Exit Strategy Academy, which is side hustlers transitioning out. And then when you're earlier on, it is this whole like, well, what about this? What about that? And you're kind of like, well, what do I say? What do I, or I'm looking at something, I'm like, if you price it this way, people don't think you're an expert. They think you're cheap.
They think you're cheap. See that, and that's a big one. I mean, what do you say to women and men who have that cheap mentality? What do you do to get them out of that?
Oh, well, wow, the interview just changed.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, pivot. Here we go. Get ready.
Greatness here. I want to know.
Well, first of all, I think of, I do that research, so I try to get a range. But also I think about the transformation bridge. And most of the time I'm working with folks, they're 10xing based on working with me. And that is millions of dollars for them. And there is a ripple effect. Some of the things we place in motion, you're going to have a year-over-year return for that, right? And so what I'm asking you to pay me is probably 2-3% of what you're going to net on the other side of the coaching, right? And so like, I'm really clear about the outcomes and the transformation bridge. But my number one tip is say the number and shut up.
Just say the number and
shut up.
Yes.
Well, I spell my name. So I put the number out there, and then I'm like, Keitahileigh. Now you know my middle name is Hiley, Hileyw. Like, I will spell my entire name, because oftentimes with the negotiation process, we start sputtering, and we start this process of, well, I can do this. What about that? No, say the number, shut up.
I'm going to do that because my name is long.
Yes.
It will be a power pause.
And
I
just
love
let them
that.
spin.
I love that. I think that is really, really powerful. But I think it's true. It's like we're taking out the terror factor because it's based on a range that's market driven, and it's based on that transformation bridge. Is that what you called it?
Yes, you got to walk them over the transformation bridge.
I love the sound. But that's really real. I mean, that is absolutely. In fact, this is like a God wink because I'm about to go into a negotiation for a big gig, and I'm going to be thinking in terms of that.
Add 30% on whatever number you came up with. My guideline, add 30%.
Perfect.
Done. Just add 30% to that number you're going to throw out there.
I love that.
Because that gives you the wiggle room to get to where you want.
That's right. God, that's right. And see, I feel like men just know shit. Like, sorry, are we allowed to?
Yeah, we could totally curse. Only thing, if I drop the F-bomb, my mom will call me.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, she's such a pretty girl with such a foul mouth.
Oh, yeah, I know. Is your mother with that mouth? I know. But men are I swear, I feel like they are groomed to just say the number and move on. And we are like, we have to make all these comments. We have to fill the airtime. But I think that's absolutely brilliant. Say it and shut up.
I also suggest practicing in the mirror.
Yes,
practice the like I received that the investment. I don't say it costs. The investment for this is
the investment.
The investment. Your investment. Okay, getting us back on track. Sorry, we were going down a rabbit hole, and I'm okay with that. So then, when we're thinking about like our side hustlers and our scaling entrepreneurs, why is communication important for growing your business? Why is this something that they really need to pay attention to?
Well, because it's the same reason it's important for a side hustler or an investment banker or an inventor or anybody. The fact is, we are competing with noise, mental noise. It doesn't matter who we're talking to. We're not talking to human beings anymore. We're talking to addicts. That whoever you're talking to is just biding their time between when they can pick their phone back up again. So we have to be skilled at signaling the brain of the person we're speaking to that something big is about to happen. This conversation is different from every other conversation you will have on this day. And what it does, and this is neuroscience, the brain makes a very quick decision. Is this person, conversation, whatever, worth my attention or not? And if the brain decides, this actually might be worth something, we can focus. But if we miss that boat and their brain decides this is just another blah, 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 it's like talking to air. There's no reception, especially in this virtual environment. Everybody's freaking multitasking.
And everyone's zoomed out.
Capacity, which is why, and in fact, this is a little pro tip that has been so life-saving for me, is because we're so stacked, Zoom to Zoom to Zoom to Zoom, I'm looking for ways to create that splash of, this meeting feels different. This moment feels different. And so what I will do, especially when I'm giving talks or I'm talking to somebody at the very early stages of the new business process to get a speaking engagement, I will start off the meeting by saying, hey, before we get started, got to ask you question of the day. And they'll be like, question, what? I'll be like, yeah. I got to hear the question of the day. I've been asking everybody this. What was the first live concert you went to as a kid?
New Edition, Michael Jackson.
Shut the front door. Oh my God. Like, I feel like I could do some of that choreography of New Edition, like without even trying. I mean, people freak out at that question. They want to talk about it. They want to connect. And now what you've done is you've established a vibe in your Zoom with them that is different, that feels juicy, generative. And now they're like, I don't remember any of the meetings I had, but I remember that one. Because
you get everyone talking in the chat then.
Yes. Or if you're selling, like, let's say you're in a new business conversation with somebody, they want to buy your coaching services or whatever, they feel this deep connection with you because they've shared this little authentic part of themselves, their history, and they remember. And they're like, I like how that felt. I like how she made me feel. She made me feel like we had a real moment.
I like it. One of my favorite ones to ask is, what's your least favorite color? Because everyone always asks, like, what do you like? What's the least favorite color? Like, People will wax poetically about
Wait.
their least favorite color.
What is your least favorite color?
Chartreuse. Pick one. Are you green or are you yellow?
I was gonna say chartreuse, honestly.
Pick one. Pick one.
I would say, you know what's my least favorite color? The freaking yellow that all pediatrician offices have had since.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be calming.
Yeah, and it's like you're sick. It's the color of you're here because you're sick.
It's the color of illness.
It's the color of illness. Exactly.
Institutional yellow, I believe that's the color.
That's it. That's exactly right. One flew over the cuckoo's nest, yellow.
I can't. All right. So now let's talk about big vision. You know what?
Yes.
We like to talk about goals here. So what's your big vision for 2021? I know 2020 threw everybody for a loop. So how have you recalibrated, and what's the big North Star for 2021?
God, it's so funny when I think about March of last year. I went, and just like we all did, went into March with a beautiful speaking pipeline. Business was looking great, and in 24 hours, it went to zero. Zero.
Same experience over here. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was terrifying. Like all of the ancient, programming around scarcity, around not enough. I mean, it was deep. And I think we all went through it in some way, shape, or form. But what happened pretty shortly thereafter is I started thinking, okay, I got to reinvent. I got to move my business to be one to many. I can't just rely on corporate, because my whole world has always been selling into big corporations, right?
Right.
And I thought, you know what? I need to extend so that I can do what I do to everybody, not just these big corporations, because who knows when their budgets are going to loosen up again. And so what it did is 2020 was about transformation for me and scale and systems that allowed me to scale. And so I put in system after system after system that allowed me to become a content generator, not just a coach or a consultant or a speaker. That's a totally different mindset than I'd been living in. And so 2021 is about sort of, now that the systems are in place, I want the flywheel to start spinning.
Good to great. Yeah.
I want the zeros to add up. I want more, please. And so far, Q1 of 2021 has been the biggest quarter of my career.
Congratulations. I can't wait. Oh, more.
Well, wait, I have to tell you, I have to give you a huge compliment, Kita. I listened to our interview, and I can't remember when we spoke. Was it like November or October or something?
It feels like eons ago.
Who knows? I mean, who could even say? But I was listening to our interview back, and I was like, something you said about making progress on your goals every day and taking bites at them every day really kicked my ass into high gear. I mean, I really do see that conversation that we had on my podcast as a real turning point for me. And I just want to tell you that I'm serious. I'm not just blowing smoke up your kilt here. I'm serious. That is the truth. I mean, and now that ethos of, look, I'm not going to check things off the to-do list because the things are too large. But what I can do is take bites at my big goals every freaking day without fail.
You all heard it here.
And I learned that from you. I'm getting all up in the camera here. Yeah, I learned
super zoom in.
That's it. I learned that from you.
I love it. And so, like, when you think about, like, as a coach, coaching is one piece of your ecosystem now.
Yes.
Like, when do you recommend that people seek out coaching? When is the time to look for a coach?
Well, I'm such a specific niche-y kind of coach. I'm a communication coach. So usually people reach out to me. Like, I was just working with somebody earlier today who just took on a hugely high-profile job at a very high-profile company, and he's got to kick it into high gear. Like, he went from giving speeches to blah, blah, blah industry type peeps to being like, okay, now I'm going to be on CNN and
Taste of the brand.
Yeah, like, we got to take this up. So when you're up leveling is a great time to go with a communication coach, or you've got a shot at a TED Talk. You've got a big moment coming up. But having said all that, looking more at like performance coaches, business coaches, life coaches, to me, I hired my first ever coach when I was in a state of just overwhelmed. Like, we reached that point where we run out of skills. Like we just don't have anything to bear anymore on the circumstances. Either we're overwhelmed or we're not getting any traction. We don't know what else to do.
We're stuck.
We're stuck. Like there are walls that we can't climb over and we need help. And I think everybody should have a coach the minute they feel that. I mean, if we can afford it, we ought to do it. I have a coach.
I have multiple.
Yes, right?
Well, I do think I like that idea of when you can't get over the wall. Like we have this running joke. I shouldn't say it a joke, but like the idea of skipping the line. That you could spin your wheels and you could spend months and months and months. You're smart enough to figure it out, but it's just going to take you a while, right? Or you can partner with an expert that can help you get over that wall, skip the line, get out of your own way. All of those visualization of just being stuck where you are.
And there's that voice in our head that says, we should know how to get out of this. We should know how to climb the wall. No, we freaking shouldn't.
No.
Where everybody's doing the best we can and we hit a wall. So we ask for help. And I also have a therapist. I'm a big fan of having a therapist.
Yeah, do that too. But I also think that also comes, besides coaching, that also comes to like when we're thinking of like our folks that are scaling right now, like don't be cheap about important stuff. Don't try to do it yourself.
No. In fact,
you don't save money.
That's when my business hit a new level, is when I finally got help. Finally asked for help. And that's when things went.
Oh yeah. When I've had those like it's been year over year growth, but like when it really started rocking and rolling was when I got my very first for real coach, and not just mentors, someone that actually coached me, a coach's coach on build the business side of coaching, because there's the modality of it and then there's the business side of it.
And this is why you guys are so rad at what you're doing, is there's this weird new age garbage that's floating in the ether that like, just get your certification for whatever you want to coach and then you'll get discovered. And then Oprah is going to call you. Oprah's not calling. You have to build your revenue. You've got to build your lists. You've got to build your systems. It took me 20 years to realize that.
Yeah. Like I honestly, I think that, and what's interesting is the day-to-day that drives it forward is not these squishy conversations. It's hardcore sales, right?
What did you say? I'm not your emotional support peacock. Like,
I'm not your emotional support peacock. I'm not.
But that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
It's not personal. It's math. It's math. Where like if you're not doing enough,
it's not personal. It's
math. Where like if you're not doing enough business development, guess what? You don't have clients.
Super simple. You got to make money. I love that. What did you say? If you're not generating revenue, you're an
eccentric hobbyist.
I think that is so good. I just think that is so
well,
good.
It's true. Like I think that like when you're first getting started and you have that side hustle.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I got started. And then there's this like this nebulous thing that kind of happens after you get out of your own way and get started, right? Where like, wait, I'm not making any money. Or I'm spending more money than I make doing this. So yeah, that's cool. That's being a hobbyist. Where like my retired mother drives around to different quilt stores all over the southeast, from Georgia to Florida and all points in between. But that's her hobby. That she is not making a quilt to sell it.
No, it's bringing her joy, and that is
bringing her joy, and that's okay. But if you started the side hustle to make some money.
That's a different thing altogether. I agree. I love it.
Probably make some money. So now let's talk about how can our audience find you? What do you have coming up? What new and exciting things?
Oh my gosh. I mean, here's the thing. The absolute number one thing is to go to bronwyncommunications.com/subscribe. That's where everything's going on. On Monday mornings, if you sign up, you'll get a communication tip for the week to guide you. And they usually have to do with either the authenticity piece or the holding people's attention piece. So even if you can't, like, even if you're not going to give a TED Talk, we all need those skills. And so every Monday morning, I offer up a skill for the week. And then Saturday mornings, I send out 3 things that are making me smile for that week. Sometimes it's a recipe, sometimes it's a movie, sometimes it's a book, and it's just a fun thing. But the beauty of being on that list is that when I do launch open courses that are not, you know, just for my corporate clients, but they're open to everybody, the people that are on my list get the first cut at those courses. So when I do my communication masterclass later this year, a 6-week course to get you from a decent communicator to OMG communicator.
I love it.
Those spots are going to fill up fast. So if you're on my list, you can snag a spot there. But also my podcast, 20 Minutes with Bronwyn, that's all things communication. I have 2 episodes a month, one with an expert like yourself, and one just me talking, teaching and preaching. And then the other thing is Instagram at BronwynSF. I love interacting with people on Instagram. So that's another way to find me.
I love everything about this, and I can't wait for your masterclass because, you know, I'm like, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, like a couple other things, and then we're gonna land the plane.
I love it.
So now, in my practice, I do not call it time management. I do not call it time management because that implies it has a choice. That it can call in sick. It can bow out early. So like when we talk about time management, we talk about it as ruling your time. Yes. So then do you have any productivity hacks or ways that you keep things in balance that you'd like to share with this spirited community?
Yes. I mean, listen, I have some very dangerous narratives around scarcity of time that will take root in my mind if I don't actively root them out every morning, because I feel so pressured by all that's going on. So my non-negotiable is I have a morning practice, and it is usually an hour. Sometimes it's 90 minutes. And in that time, I write in my journal, I say my prayers, I plan the day, I identify the 2 or 3 absolute most important things to nail that day. And I make sure that they're in the calendar. And when I have pockets of time, I'm executing on only those 2 or 3 things. But also, I believe in transitions as magic. So if a meeting ends, first thing I do is I capture the goddess from the meeting, but the next thing I try and do is go outside and recharge this battery.
Yes.
Constantly being drained. So, you know, every day looks different to me, but for me, it's about ruling your time. I love that. And I rule my time by first thing in the morning, reminding everybody that I'm running this and it is my time and my day, and we're going to block it out during our morning practice and everybody can get in line. You know what I'm saying?
I have minimum 90 minutes of Kita time before I talk to anybody.
That's it. We have to. It's non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable. Yeah.
They think it's a luxury. It's not a freaking luxury. It's literally how I charge the battery.
Oh yeah. Right? You cannot pour from the empty cup. That's so it. Like, and I do think that there's a lot of output in the space of coaching, and when you have to do the on camera and the this and the that, there's a lot of output there. And so you have to, like, when I have big stuff where, like, you know, we have a big speaking engagement or whatever, you know, whatever I do all day. Yes. If it's more than 20 people, I need like a half day to recover.
Kita, thank you for saying that. That is right. That is absolutely right. It is exhausting. People don't get it.
When it was in person, I would need a whole day.
Yes.
Because of like people touching me, getting in my dance box. Oh yeah, that's a whole energy exchange.
I mean, it's real. It is. And in the old days, we used to be able to go back to the hotel room, put on our bathrobes, like get takeout. Like we used to be able to luxuriate post those engagements. No more.
No, because there's another like thing booked.
Same damn room. You know?
No real break in the action. No. So yes, the 90 minutes. Okay, lightning round. These are my questions about nothing. Okay. So now I don't know if you've heard me talk about the double-edged sword of being brilliant. That is that being brilliant is a blessing and a curse, because when you're brilliant, you never run out of ideas. You can overthink things. You can have a PowerPoint for the PowerPoint on the PowerPoint. And I have a running joke with one of my clients that stupid people are out here winning because they know how to do one thing really well, and that's all they focus on.
That's really smart. Yeah. Are they stupid? That's the question.
Right. They just play to their strengths. So then what are some of your tips on like narrowing that focus and managing the genius?
God, that's such a great question. I mean, I'm a big fan of time blocking. Like, here's the thing that really came home to me during quarantine and COVID is that I didn't realize that walking in my neighborhood without my phone is without a doubt the most creatively productive thing I can do. So if I have I just got off a call, I'm going to need to brainstorm something. I take it on a walk. And that 30 minutes gives me about it would take me 8 hours of staring at a screen and typing to come up with what a walk will give me in 30 minutes. So I'm a big fan of time bending. I focus by taking
time bending
and bending time, because I will get a download that is like the $1 million idea that happened in about 2 minutes because I was in the right mindset, right? So for me, it's surfing those energy waves. Like, that's where the good ideas come from. They come from going outside without my freaking phone. So that's what I
love it. Time bending. I'm also going to say that as if I made it up as well.
Shout out to my partner, Linda Sievertson. She and I are big time benders.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So mic drop moment. We're landing the plane now. If you had to drop the mic or give one golden nugget to this group of goal setting, side hustler, badass boss ladies, what is your mic drop golden nugget moment? Go for it.
My mic drop golden nugget moment is that you are more than enough. You think you're waiting for something to happen. You think you're waiting for permission. You are so magnificent and so designed for purpose and magic and momentum that, like, you don't need anybody's permission. All you need is a practice that allows you to access those two sides of the shine coin that I was talking about. So if you need permission, this is me giving it to you, but you don't need it. You're magnificent and you're ready to shine, not next week, not when you get your master's, but right now.
Shine right now, y'all. Shine. Mic drop. That gave me the goosebumps. Like in my elbow.
I love it. It's giving me the wiggles. I'm just gonna wiggle.
I'm like, woo! I see you're using your standing desk today.
That's right. better body language that way.
I got it. Open. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Bronwyn. Hold the line. I'm going to land the plane, and I'll come right back to you. Thank you so much. This was
You're the greatest, Kita.
As are you. This was awesome. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Okay, hold on. Landing the plane. So now, if you are tuning in and watching the replay on this one, hashtag replay in the comments and share with us your favorite takeaways. Again, if you need permission, you don't. If you're looking for someone to give you permission to be the best you can be, to shine as the brightest star we know you are, you got that permission today, okay? So once again, thank you for joining us. And a friendly reminder that our 5 days of focus for our aspiring corporate escape artists starts on March 15th. So I want to encourage you to grab your spot. We have prizes and surprises. We have an exciting workbook that we're going to share with you so you can get your advanced copy by registering today. We have lovely concierges in Monica and Cece who will assist you with the process. So you can just go to successbully.com/challenge. So once again, or /challenge / whatever, successbully.com/challenge. We're so excited to have each one of you join us in that journey, and we cannot wait to see what all you will accomplish. Have a powerful rest of the week. We'll be popping in, I'll go live the rest of the week, and we can't wait to see you back here next time. Let's get after it.